Yeah, so I don't know what happened, but my computer froze and I had to restart. It was a little bit weird because I didn't have anything running in the background. It's just that all of a sudden, first I couldn't scroll down when I was on the Twitter, and then my mouse cursor froze as well. So I just restarted my computer, and here we are. So, sorry for that. I think I should reinstall Windows because probably have a lot of things that I clicked on, if you know what I mean. Oh wow, this is an interesting thing. I'll probably read it on my next Week in Stupid. But look at this. Like this is a little bit shocking to say the least. United States just finished dead last among 46 countries in media trust. That is astonishing. I mean, to me, it shocks me that there's still people trusting in the media. Here's something that I don't get about the mainstream media, right? And I think I might get it, but for different reasons. When I grew up, the first interaction that I had with the media, right? Because I was a kid, I didn't read the newspapers, I didn't know what the media really is. But when I grew up, the thing that I knew about it was Superman, right? Superman and Lois. And they're trying to get the story, and sometimes they risk their personal safety in order to get the scoop on something. And it was like what a journalist is supposed to be, but it wasn't a cartoon. Now, again, it's a cartoon about Superman, so you should know that, well, yeah, like obviously Superman can fly and whatnot, so it's not real. Like, yeah, the cartoon isn't real, but I was from Romania and I was watching that cartoon from the United States, and I thought at least the representation of the media is supposed to be real. Alright, so that's the vibe that you get. And then when you look at what you learn in school, it's like, well, yeah, the media is very essential for a democracy. Like, you can't have a democracy without a free press. And you find out all these authoritarian systems. Like, the first things that they did was to control the press. So you get like a interesting take on what the media is. But then when you grow up and you start realizing that, hold on a little bit, like the media is a for-profit entity, right? What is the for-profit entity main business model? It's making money. What does telling the truth have to do with making money? Because you look at a commercial, right? Like Coca-Cola isn't going to tell you, hey, by the way, our sugary drink can make you fat. Hey, by the way, our sugary drink can give you diabetes. Hey, by the way, our sugary drink can give you problems with your stomach if you keep drinking it. They're not telling you that, right? Because the truth doesn't make money. There's no reason to make the truth. The only reason that the media writes articles is to get people to click on those articles or to buy the paper. So they don't need to do that. And then you realize it's like it's not just about the money, but there's a lot of power to be made. If you're the media, you can get kickbacks from politicians if you cover them properly. If you promote politicians just like you promote a brand of cola, oh, all of a sudden you can make a lot of money and influence. But what I have to say is that in the United States, it's not only about the media lying, because the media lies in most nations. That's not the problem. The problem is like when you have mainstream outlets like CNN going after private citizens. Like there was the case where someone made a meme about CNN, and then CNN says, oh, I see. Well, if you don't take that meme down, we're going to dox you. Or with the Covington kids, right? It's like in the United States, the media actively goes after private citizens, actively demands that private citizens get censored on social media. I mean, the reason you have censorship on social media is because of the mainstream media. So, of course, people don't trust the mainstream media because it actively fucks with people's lives. Like, imagine if you had an individual that used to go on Facebook and post edgy memes and he was joking with his friends, and now he sees that his friends get banned. He sees that he gets zooked, and it's like, oh, who did this to me? Who did this? Oh, the media did this to me. Oh, I see. Right? So why would he trust those people? I didn't drink it before the stream. Yeah. Oh, if you doxy, they did. I believe like there was one point where at an E3 convention, they accidentally released the names and phone numbers of journalists. Oh my god, they freaked out so bad. As if, I don't know, because nothing happened. Like, it's years after the event, so we know, like, jack shit happened. But they don't like it when what they're doing to others is being done to them. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, how dare you? Alright, seems we're in a time loop, because yet again, in the United Kingdom, you get on the BBC, like, this is national headline. Someone posted that it's okay to be white on a lamppost. I gotta say, like, the low quality effort of it as well, like, there's no logo, there's nothing, it's just like a white piece of paper saying it's okay to be white. And now the police is sparking an investigation. So I'm curious, like, do they spark an investigation every time post a flyer somewhere? Is the crime in the United Kingdom that low that the police can afford to do this stuff? Like, do they actively police people every single time someone posts a flyer? Really? Wow. Yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe defund the police should actually happen in the United Kingdom, because they have too much time on their hands. Like, if you have resources to go after every single edgy shit that's posted on a lamppost, like, no one gets hurt, nothing is happening, but, like, someone had the audacity to post this. I'm also curious, like, what do they do to the person? Like, okay, yeah, I posted it. And what? Then what? You know, like, if I was from the United Kingdom and not from Romania, and I would say, yeah, okay, I posted this. Yep. It's like, why did you do it? I felt like it. Yeah, but why? To see how you'd react. Like, what are they going to do? I'm literally curious. Like, do they lock the person up? Like, what crime is he committing? So, Hampshire Constabulary apparently found on lampposts in 2 roads this sign. And these tactics are divisive, and they have no place in today's world. Yeah, your reaction to the tactic is divisive. Normal people just walk past it. What you are doing is divisive. If you replace white with any other ethnicity or sexual orientation, no one would have a problem. They're tactics that are used to divide deliberately by neo-Nazi groups. Neo-Nazi groups didn't say it's okay to be white. First of all, neo-Nazi groups didn't even care about white. That's an American thing. Neo-Nazi groups were about the Aryans, right? And they had ethnicities. So it would be, it's awesome to be German, or it's awesome to be whatever they would have, like Aryan, or right? Like, that's what the Nazis would do. They wouldn't be like, oh, white. And definitely not something like low effort, like it's okay to be. It started in the US, but we've seen it here in the UK. Yes, this is the second time, and I don't think in the US anyone started the police investigation over this. It was posted on a campus, and it was the university professors that freaked out. It wasn't like actual citizens. Spokesperson for the police said that they were liaising with local community groups as part of the investigation. Again, I'm curious, okay, so you find the guy, then what? Like, what is the next step after you find him? Did you lock him in Guantanamo? Like, that does the UK have a Guantanamo? They have the London Tower, don't they, where they lock people up? They don't have speech rights. Dude, even in a country where you don't have speech rights, to persecute someone for saying it's okay to be whatever the fuck, I don't see how that's going to end well. Like, if your job is to fight against white supremacy, giving white supremacists a reason to feel persecuted is not the way to go. I mean, no, seriously, imagine if you find... Okay, imagine if you say it's okay to be blonde, right? It's okay to have blonde hair. And they consider that to be a hate crime. If I was a person with blonde hair, I would be like, wait a minute. The fuck? It's okay to have green eyes. And you see the cops like taking it seriously and trying to persecute the guy. And you have green eyes, or your mom has green eyes. And you're like, what? Wait. What country am I living in? Like, what is happening here? Dankula case 2.0, yeah. But even then, like, with Dankula, from what I understand, like, they were suggesting, like, the prosecutor was suggesting that he's trying to gas people or some shit. It's like, what the fuck? Like, Dankula was actually telling me some of the things there, and I was like, dude, get the hell out. Like, really? But, like, in this situation, like, what can you do? What? There is absolutely nothing. Like, yeah, if the sign would say it's okay to be French, I would understand why the British would get a little uppity. But by the way, what if you put the sign it's okay to be English? Do you think they freak out? And if they do freak out, do you think they would freak out if you put the same sign in France? Like you go to Paris and you put it's okay to be English. Do you think they would freak out? So weird. But again, like it's weird because this has happened already. Like it's the second time it happens. It's not even the first. And you can see how people react to this. Like you go to the comment section and it's like people from all around the world. It's not okay to be white. This isn't about a person's skin color. This is a symbol of hatred. Says the person with the EU flag. How is it a symbol of hatred if you say it's okay to be? No, like you're using hatred in order to attack people. That's what you're the hateful one here. Like you are hateful that another person exists in society that is not part of your ideology. Apparently such sentiments are used to divide people. Yeah, apparently. Are the police now criminalizing being white? No, it's not being white that's the problem. It's posting stickers on a lamppost that's the problem. This has to be a joke. It's okay to be any color. Well, white isn't a color. No, white is a color. Like, if you take a circle and you put all the colors on the rainbow on the circle and then you spin it really fast, it turns white. Oh my god, someone said, but it's okay to mass rape in Rotterdam and the police look the other way. Yeah, like in Rotterdam, the chief of police said that they didn't want to go after the cases because they didn't want to be seen as racist. Now, I don't think that's the case. I think it's a little bit of corruption going on there. I think like someone paid the police chief to look the other way, and when he is caught, he can't say, well, yes, we were paid. So it sounds a lot better like, oh no, we were progressives, right? So that is the thing. But if you're going to say, oh, we didn't handle the situation because of political correctness, I definitely think that in London, well, not just in London, but in the UK, the chant defund the police is something that I can get behind. Like, if this is how they waste police resources, if this is how they think that time should be spent, then they have way too much time on their hand and too many people. They can suffer a little bit of defunding over there. White is not a color. It's like saying an organism is an organ. No, white and black aren't colors, man. Like, I'm sorry to say this, but scientifically, like, white and black aren't considered colors. They're actually considered non-colors. And I'm talking about painting, alright? Like, I'm just talking about painting. Well, you missed the time machine. Anyway, let's see what else we got, because there were a couple of news that I wanted to discuss. Here's another one, and this is something that I found interesting. So, Black Panther 2 shuts down production as Letitia Wright recovers from injury. And I made a video on my secondary channel about this. But, isn't this happening way too often? I mean, I know it used to be in the past, alright? Like, accidents on the set, especially like stunt doubles, they get injured a lot. Which is why being a stunt double pays very well. But, okay, you know, like, it happened in the past. I remember when I was a kid, the actress who plays Xena got injured. And every now and then you'd find... But lately, my god, so let's see, we got, what was it? The first one was with Resident Evil, where the stunt actress lost an arm. You have the Baldwin, right? The incident. The actress who plays Batwoman, she recently came out and said that on the set she had an injury again because the person responsible for safety was very careless. Now you have this. I mean, just how often is it happening? So there's several reasons from what I understand. Because I have a couple of connections with people from the inside. I guess it's part of the course when you have a channel that's over 100,000 members. You know people, you know, they contact you on Twitter and say, hey, I work for such and such. And if you want to know anything, ask me questions, just don't make it public. And okay, like for example, on from what I get, number one is the lack of resources. So, uh, believe it or not, like people are watching less and less Hollywood, and there's different reasons for it. One of the reasons is that most people prefer now to use different mediums of entertainment, like video games, or they watch foreign movies like Korean films and whatnot. But getting woke going broke is actually hurting their budget. That is the bottom line. And they're trying to cut costs wherever they can. Now, one of the way they cut costs is that they fire people that were in the industry and they know their job very well, but they ask a lot of money. So they fire those and they bring new people instead. And if you look at, I believe the Daily Mail released an article on this where the girl responsible for Baldwin's mishap, she was actually very new, and she said that she's not ready for the job, but they gave her the job anyway, right? So you look at all these diversity initiatives where you bring a person that fits all the check boxes, and they're usually all the time actually they're very young and very inexperienced. So if you have an ideology that actively says there is no merit, there is only equity, so we need to be equitable, and you put people in positions of power who don't earn their way to be there, like you would have to be a person that has served decades in the field if you're going to be responsible for the chief that's in charge of safety. You're going to end up with accidents. Like, there's no way around it. So yes, like downscale of the budget that they're having, the diversity initiatives, which they're open about it, like that they're bragging about it actually. And all of this is causing more and more accidents. Now, I don't know, maybe like there were accidents before, but they weren't reported. But usually you'd have like a guy that maybe, sprayed an ankle or took a bad fall. But now you have people hospitalized constantly, like they're either hospitalized or ending up dead. And it's happening like it used to be once every 2 or 3 years. Now it's many times a year. Your target today, 37, Letitia Wright, star of the film Black Panther. Her recent comments regarding medical procedures have made our clients, Big Pharma, worried about their stock. Good luck, 47. Oh my god. That is, I'm going to steal that for the next week, is stupid. Oh my god, that is so good. Hold on, I'll just copy it. You just made your way in the new week is stupid. It's just so good. Man, if I were to be able to have a girl that can mimic Diana's voice. Where is the folder that I have? Oh, here we go. Don't tell me I deleted it. Ah, here we go. Yeah, found it. I don't think it's an ideological thing. I just think they're doing things with the lowest bidder. Yes, they're doing things with the lowest bidder, but they can cover that in order not to look like cheapskates and say, oh, it's a diversity thing, right? So you can be for diversity, save money for the company, and have good PR. Because if any other company, like think about it, right? If a company comes out that they're skimming when it comes to safety, they're going to lose PR. But if a company comes out, no, we're not skimming because of safety. No, it's diversity, right? All of a sudden, people are like, oh, congratulations, you're such a progressive company. You're doing so well. How the hell does Aiden Paladin have a check mark? How did she get a check mark? I can't get a check mark. F you, Aiden Paladin. Give me your check mark. Hold on. Mentat gave me a super chat. Let's see. Did you hear about Travis Scott ritual sacrifice? What the fuck? Okay, I'm looking at it now. So, Travis Scott ritual sacrifice. Only state people have died and scores of people have been hurt after a crowd surge on the opening night at Houston, Texas. Panic broke out after the crowd began to press towards the front stage at rapper Travis Scott. 11 people were taken to hospital in cardiac arrest and 8 died. What? The event was cancelled. Extremely tragic night. Our hearts broken. It's not the kind of event you go and expect fatalities. People thank emergency response. So what exactly happened? Oh, so amateur video from the concert appears to show fans jumping on an emergency vehicle in the crowd. People may have been hurt. Fans pressed up against each other near the front of the main stage. People were so cramped together that they started hyperventilating, struggling to leave. This is so weird. They were tragically young. Nobody could have dreamed of this. How did this happen? It makes no sense. Okay, so the people went in front of the stage and they pressed against each other until they got squeezed to death? Like, how? My God, that's so bizarre. I know I'm not showing you the screen. I'm telling you what's on the screen. I just... What do you want me to show? Like, do you think they actually show the image? It's like, you sick fuck, do you want to see that? No, you don't. There was just, like, an image of the rapper I was reading from you from BBC. But, like... Man, there have been, like, so many concerts and that never happened. As far as I'm aware. Like, how weird. And not to mention, like, how do you not know that you're squeezing someone so hard? Yeah. There was a stampede before the show. People rushed to the gates. Jackass, this is not that type of channel. What a nasty way to go from like, even... But here's the thing, right? Like, and this is what I always wondered at the United Kingdom, because I don't have a metro in my town. But alright. So let me find one that doesn't have a train. And I actually want to ask you guys something this time around. So, crowded metro station. Why do they all have trains? Alright. I'll show you the screen. So here you go, right? Like, this is the metro station. And the train comes here, right? But when there isn't a train on the station, there's nothing. Like, there's no fence, there's literally nothing. And if you fall down here, from what I understand, you may get electrocuted. So, big no-no, right? Because I was a little bit surprised by this in London. Like, I expected the fence, some glass, nothing, zero. So normally it's fine, right? Like, you don't stand here. But my question is, like, when it's crowded like this, right? When you have literally this happening, how do you manage to not get pushed, right? Because the person pushing you might not want to do that. Like, the person pushing you is probably pushed by another person who's pushed by another person who's pushed by another person. So, for example, if this guy here would start pushing, he would push everyone forward, right? Including... So, how do you manage not to have people falling down? Like, this is a legit question. Like, this really baffled me when I was there. Because, like, I know how pushy people are at the bus station. Like, every time I go to the bus station, there is a game that people play. It's almost like they pretend to be a lawyer and the bus driver is the judge. So the lawyer has to convince the judge that the bus isn't full. There is actually one more place in the bus and he can fill it. Every single time at every single station. Like, you see the bus and it's packing like sardines. Like, when the doors open, like, people are being exposed out because of the pressure inside the bus, right? And no matter how full the bus is, like, sometimes it is so full that, as I mentioned, you see the doors about to burst. The guy outside is going to try to argue with the bus driver that no, there is just one more place. Like, I can make it. Mentat said the thing. Let's see what Mentat said. Aiden Paladin has 121,000 subs. Bitch, I have 124,000 subs. YouTube doesn't want to give it to me. Reports are someone was running around injecting people with an opiate and causing a stampede. And lots of demonic imagery. I mean, I haven't seen that. Nowhere was mentioned. But even then, I mean, how long does it take for the opiate to kick in? It's not... I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll have to do some research because it's the first time I hear about it. Check out Salty Cracker's video about it. The word is that the cardiac arrest happened and then caused the stampede, not the other way around. But even then, it's like, okay, so you see a person having a cardiac arrest. Like, from what you're seeing, is someone fainting? Why would that cause a stampede? Like, if you see people fainting. I did apply for the verification. They decided to suspend it last time I heard. Because there was like that thing where they wanted to stop giving verification. Unless for like a specific group of people. Like they wanted to do the Twitter thing where not everyone gets to have it. And when I reached 100,000 people, I couldn't get it. It's fine. Oh yes, I am oppressed. People get squished at Mecca. I don't know. It's just so weird. I mean, I've been to so many crowds. I never got squished. I mean, what I'm saying is that it is possible to attend one of these events without getting squished. Alright. This was interesting. So, this is at the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. And the prosecutor is trying to argue that Anthony Huber is has been a peaceful individual. And this is what the lawyer said.
Character traits for peacefulness is what they're getting into. I have 2 criminal complaints, one of which the defendant held a knife to his brother's throat. He put a knife to his brother's ear. He told...
You know, the only thing that Kyle should do now is to give the judge the expression like Mr. Bean, if you know what I mean. Not the if you know what I mean thing, but the same facial expression, the same look like in that meme to the judge while his lawyer is talking. Like, this is how he should look. Hold on. Let me just... Like right here, this should be Kyle's facial expression throughout this speech.
He called him... He said he would gut him like a... He said what? Mr. Huber told his brother that if he didn't start cleaning a room in their house, he was gonna gut him like a pig. Mr. Huber's brother noticed a knife in Mr. Huber's right hand that looked like a butcher knife, 6 inches long with a green handle. Mr. Huber later on in the same incident threw a chair and some clothes across the room, threatening to kill his brother if he didn't clean. Mr. Huber then sat down with the knife in his hand and watched them while his brother and Mr. Huber made his grandmother pick things up as well. And Mr. Huber told his brother that if he stopped cleaning, he would kill him. Mr. Huber's brother then turned around and Mr. Huber put a knife to his brother's stomach, saying he was gonna gut him like a pig.
Look how shocked the judge looks like. Look at his facial expression, like, what the fuck am I hearing?
Pig.
Look at his eyes.
Mr. Huber's brother bent down to try to protect himself. Mr. Huber then grabbed his brother by the neck, dug his nails in, and choked him for approximately 10 seconds. He then put a knife to his brother's left
What the fuck is this woman playing? Is this Minesweeper? Is she playing Minesweeper at the computer while this is going on?
Ear. His brother felt the blade and believed his ear was cut. Those are... Oh, and then as he left, he told the people in the house, I'm gonna burn the house down with all you fuckers in it.
Now, I just want to say, look at Kyle's expression. Now, I just want to say, the reason this is funny is not because of what I'm hearing. The reason this is funny is that the prosecution was trying to say that this was a peaceful individual. Okay? Like, after you heard that, and he did that to his own family, over the fact that they didn't want to clean a room. Okay? And you as the prosecution have the balls, like the cojones, the testicular cancer, to go in and say, oh yeah, he was a very peaceful individual. Everyone, like, look how shocked this guy. The fuck? I mean, honestly, my God, like, oh. By the way, like, the prosecution's job, I just want to make it clear. I would have been okay if a lawyer would have said it, right? Because if a lawyer would have said it, like, his job is to get off the client. Well, to get the client off. You know what I mean. Right? Like, a lawyer's job is to make sure that his client is represented. Like, he takes money for that. The prosecution is paid by the government, and their job isn't to make shit up. Like, their job is to make sure justice is done. The prosecution, at least theoretically, if a person deserves 5 years, a prosecutor should make sure they get 5 years, not 7. Alright? Like, the prosecution isn't the one that's trying to get you with the maximum sentence possible. No, the prosecution is trying to make sure that the law is being followed. So that's why I don't like what the prosecutor did. Like, clearly they knew that this isn't a peaceful individual, so they're literally lying about this. Dying in Mecca is an atomic heaven. You don't even have to be Muslim. All your sins are forgiven on the spot. Is that true, Abdi? Come on, that can't be in the Quran. Get the fuck out. So you're telling me that if a person dies of old age in Mecca, they're literally forgiven? Like, all their sins are forgotten? I don't... That must be some Muslim superstition. Like, I don't think that the law, the Quran is meant that like that, or the Hadith. Because if that's the case, then literally everyone would want to go to Mecca when they're old, right? Like, everyone would try to buy an apartment in Mecca. You fell for the neutral judiciary beam. Oh, shut the fuck up, Tactical Droid. There's a difference between how things are and how they should be. And even then, right, like, at least most prosecutors have the common sense. I'm telling you this from what I've seen at trials. If they want to... First of all, like, there's really no interest in a prosecutor to give a higher conviction than is needed, right? Like, a prosecutor gets rewarded for how many cases they file and how many cases actually end up in convictions. So, if you're a prosecutor, you don't really care if the person gets 1 day or 10 years. You manage to convict them, right? So you get bonus points for that. The problem happens when, like in this case with this prosecutor, there is literally no reason why he would do this, right? Like, especially when it's so obvious that he's going to get caught. Because all the, like if the person has criminal complaints, right? He knows about it. So if the person had a criminal complaint from his family, and they say, like, they tried to burn the house down and put the knife at someone, there's really no reason why you'd say he's peaceful. None whatsoever. Like, you should go with a different approach. You're going to get caught. Like, there's no way, because the lawyer also has access to the data, and the lawyer will say, well... And then you look like a moron. Corruption is a thing. This is a political trial. I don't know if it's political, really. I mean, the mainstream media wants to make it political, but the judge clearly doesn't play politics in this. Binger cares because he's an ideologue. He was wearing a Star Wars Rebel lapel pin. Binger is the prosecutor. The state is afraid of riots if Kyle gets unpunished. I don't think there will be riots if Kyle gets unpunished. And even if there will be riots, the Democrats are now in charge. Like, the Democrats don't give a fuck. They'll call the police. They'll call the agentes federales in a bit. Like, there's no reason to let the riots go on now. Okay, now I understand. My comments on Ashley Biden's diary allegations. Okay, so from what I understand, Project Veritas got raided last week, and the reason they got raided is because last year they got a journal which allegedly belongs to Ashley Biden. And in that journal, she talks about drugs and being molested and a lot of nasty stuff. But Project Veritas couldn't verify the journal. Like, they couldn't say if it's authentic or not, so they decided not to air it. And now they got raided, well, at least some of their reporters got raided, in order to look for the journal, right? And I guess, like, the allegation is theft. But even then, like, since when do the cops raid people for stealing a journal? Like, how expensive is a journal anyway, right? Like, this would be petty crime, I suppose, and even then, like, it would be a fine. But, okay, there's two possibilities. Like, number one, well, it is the real journal, and it's politically motivated, I guess, but even then, if it's like the real journal, like, by now there would be copies of it, and they would have it stored on the cloud, on the internet, so there's no way that they would get rid of it. Or number two, they wanted to raid them anyway, and they're using this as a pretext. Because, like, a lot of people think, well, yes, it's real. Yeah, but, like, it could also be like they just wanted to raid the reporters and had no reason to do so. And it's like, okay, well, there's this journal, so that gives us reason to raid them, and we can see what else they have. Now, I have a problem, okay? For the first time in my life, I have a problem that I've never encountered. So, for a couple of days now, I've heard strange noises in my room. Like, once I heard that my cat is in the room, and then I realized that the cat is actually outside, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, okay, maybe I have mice, you know, like mice in the wall. Because it's a new house, I don't know anything. So, I got this mouse trap, and I asked my wife to bring me some bait, because I wanted to put the mouse trap in the attic. And she goes into the kitchen, and then she screams. She lets out a scream like a shanked coyote, and tells me that she saw a mouse in the kitchen. I'm like, motherfucker, why the fuck do I have a cat? Like, what? Okay, fine, whatever. You know, I never saw the mouse. She claims it exists. But my question is, like, I got these glue traps, right? And apparently, like, they're not humane. And I understand the situation, alright? But number one, the mouse brought the shit to me. Like, I don't want to do this, you know? But the mouse brought the problem to me. I didn't want to bring it to the mouse. So, I think I have the moral high ground. Like, my territory was violated. And thus, I have the right to regain my territory, right? But, how do you unglue a mouse from a mouse trap? Because I don't want to kill it. I just want it out of my house. Like, that's... Although the thing is, from what I understand, that if I throw the mouse outside, it will actually die from the elements. So I'm not really doing it a favor. Like, if you catch and release the mouse, it dies because, well, it's used to sitting in house when it's warm, and you send it outside when it's cold. Why would mice be getting in my new house? Because it's cold outside and it's warm inside. Well, you know, like, that's the thing. It's not that I don't want, like, it's not that I'm really against killing it, because again, it's a vermin, right? So legally, I'm allowed to. But I don't want to kill it in the most painful way possible. Like, I just... I would prefer if it's a trap that does it, that it's over, you know? Like, I don't want to make the animal suffer, even if it's a vermin. If you release it, he'll come back if you don't go far. See, people ask me, like, why doesn't my cat catch the mouse? Well, first of all, they're in the attic, and the cat doesn't have access to the attic. And secondly, they're in the walls, and the cat doesn't go in the walls. So that is like the number one problem. The number two problem is that I seen it in the kitchen. The cat isn't allowed in the kitchen. People are like, kill it, kill it. Get the lethal trap. Well, I think the glue trap is kind of lethal, so. I don't even know how my cat would react. Like, my cat never saw a mouse before. I assume it's just going to bat at it. I don't even know if it's going to bite it or anything. So I have no clue. Tactical droid guess it's a fucking mouse. See, that's the problem with religious people. Like, yeah, it's a fucking mouse, but I have empathy towards things that are alive. I mean, I just don't want it to suffer, you know? Suffocate it. Okay, put a bag over it. Like, how do I suffocate the mouse? Do I use carbon dioxide like they use on pigs? Smart mice you have. Pure instinct, it will catch it. Indoor cats are normies. I don't even have an air gun and I wouldn't shoot it. What the fuck is wrong with people? My god. My entire chat is filled with sadists. Look at this. The mouse came into your house, they drew first blood. Have I ever caught a chicken? Yeah, but like, look, I'm not saying that I'm against the idea of exterminating vermin, which are the mice in my house, okay? I'm not against that. But if I want to exterminate it, I want to do it fast. Like, yes, you know, if you caught a chicken, you do it so that it suffers the least. Like, you don't start beating a chicken to death, okay? Like, there are ways to do it and ways that you shouldn't do it. Says the guy that wants to use the glue trap. I don't want to use the glue trap. I'm constrained to using the glue trap. There were no other traps available. And that was like the least option. Plus, I thought that you can unglue the mouse. Make it an example for the rest of the mice. Do you know that they actually learn? Like, from what I know, like, if they see other mice getting caught in a trap, they won't go into the trap. I worked in mammalogy. Use a have a heart trap. Bitch, Romania doesn't have a heart trap. I looked at different stores. Like, just so you understand, I paid extra money to go to different stores to find multiple traps. The only traps that sell in my area are glue traps. That's it, period. Nothing else. I guess I should be able to craft the trap by myself, but I'm not a crafting guy. I don't even like crafting in video games. Maybe I should take a syringe and euthanize it. Like, I think that's what I could do. Just wait, and when it's in the trap, go Agent 47 like on it with the fiber wire. Our dogs keep bringing hedgehogs in the house. They don't kill it, they just bring it, and it gets stuck inside, and we have to get it out. Man, so I heard that some people have pet hedgehogs. Like, they're really cool. But their shit smells horrible. Like, for a little critter like that, apparently, its feces smell the worst. Take care of the problem with poison? I guess, like, that's a way, like, use poison. I think I could. But the problem is, like, if it dies and it dies in the walls, it's going to stink up the place because it's going to rot. What? Give it a Pfizer shot? I mean, if it's designed for humans and you give it to an animal, yeah, I guess it could be lethal. Use a hammer. Jesus, no, you know what? This is the last time I'm asking the chat for humane advice. You could easily make a bucket trap. Bitch, I don't know how to craft in video games. What makes you think that I can easily do it? You know, just because it's easy for you doesn't mean it's easy for me. You can let them out in a field to be preyed upon. Well, yeah, no, like this is the thing. A lot of people believe that if you catch a spider in your house and you let it outside, it's going to be fine. In reality, if you catch a spider in your house and you let it outside, it's going to die from the difference in temperature. Like the difference in temperature is lethal. And I assume it's the same for mice. Like if you take a mouse from plus 23 degrees Celsius and you put it outside to like 10 or 5 degrees, there's no way it's going to survive. Yeah, I'll probably look it up on YouTube. Although I gotta say, I don't even have a bucket in my house. I'll probably have to buy one. Nerf gun. What? My god, like Americans are some of the most bizarre people. Like whenever an American has a problem, it's like insert type of gun here. Like, I could make an Arduino electrocution mouse trap. See, the electrocution trap would probably be more humane. Rather than let it there for 3 days stuck on glue. Most humane thing to do is rodent-proof your entire house. Yeah, well, so I talked with a guy in order to isolate my house a little bit more, but the problem is, I don't know where they're coming in from. Because again, like, they're in the attic. They're not in my house, and also in the kitchen. So the kitchen is probably easy, because I think it's like where the ducts are coming from, so I can cover those up. But the main problem is, like, how did they get into the attic? Because they must climb the walls or something. I have no idea how they managed to get in there. They'll probably get killed by some kind of bird, even if exposure doesn't do it. I don't fucking care, they're a rodent. Of course they get killed by predators all the time. You only have glue traps, good luck getting an electric one. I don't even know if the electric ones run on battery. Use a nail gun. Oh, fucking hell, Abdi. Of course the Muslim is the most sadistic person here. You're making me have unconscientious biases, Abdi. You're making me believe into stigmatism stereotypes. Not American, still gonna shoot it. Just a cat, the cat presence alone should be enough to scare most mice away. Dude, I have a cat in my house. They're brave mice, what can I say? That mouse was like Braveheart. I bet he was in my kitchen crying, freedom! 2 of our cats have died of poison to kill mice, but the classic snap trap is an option. Sounds gruesome, but death in most cases should be instant. Yeah, I mean, that's probably what I would go, but I couldn't find any single snap trap. I don't think the cat would eat the poison, because if I would buy some, I would only put it in the attic, and my cat doesn't go in the attic. I don't think my cat is malfunctioning. I think my cat just didn't see it. Shovel decapitation. There are lots of options for small things. Not to mention, don't they make rat poison now so that if your cat eats it, the cat is fine? Because I hear like the reason it like most poisons, they work on rats because the rats can't puke. So if you have a poison that the cat would puke it out, but the rat wouldn't, then there you go. Gematria says Kyle will be convicted. That would be interesting. I mean, given to how the trial went up until now, it's very difficult. I mean, especially with the extra footage. I don't know, man. I would be shocked. Like I would literally be like, this would be the first case that would shock me if Kyle gets convicted. Turn the cat settings into vicious. No, like if the cat would have seen the mouse and the cat would have done nothing, you would have had the point. But the cat actually didn't see it, so. There's apparently a thing that you put in the socket and it releases a sound, which make mice feel uncomfortable. So maybe I can try with that. Okay, I got a golden DM apparently. Let's see what it's about. Oh yeah. So I actually was going to talk about this. By the way, Trey, how much money do you have? Because you gave me so many super chats. Make sure you save some for your own Christmas. I appreciate your contributions, but still, wow. So Camellia has to stop talking about hearing presidents break wind. And apparently she blushed. What was that song from Disney Aladdin? It's like, when the wind from the east and meets the sound from the west and the time in the glass seems right. Maybe this is like... Jesus Christ. But I guess he didn't even try to fart like with the silent but deadly type. Like he went for the loudspeaker, didn't he? Do you think he had the bass settings on to max? Like he had treble to max? If there is an activist juror, there will be a mistrial. They didn't do enough to screen for that. Yeah, I didn't expect the fact that like maybe the jury might be activist, but I don't know, man. Like it would be so difficult. Like even if I was a racist, like if I was a raging racist, and I would see like a guy that's 100% innocent, I don't think I would convict. I just wouldn't be able to do it. Like okay, let's say it was a jury of my enemies. Let's say it was one of my worst enemies there, right? And he was accused of a crime that he didn't commit. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say, yes, he did it. It's like, what the fuck? By the way, do you think like Biden farts contribute to climate change? Because like they do have CO2 emissions. They removed a juror for making an anti-cop joke to a cop. I mean, I guess because the situation in the United States is quite tense. So if you have a person that's like, fuck the police, he might be ideologically inclined, I suppose, but yeah, fine. I don't even know if I'm principled. It's just like it's something that I just can't do. Like, for fuck's sake, I don't have a principle in protecting vermin, but I do find the idea of a glue trap to be worse. But again, like, I have nothing else, so, well. Plus, I thought you can unglue the mouse. Which is something that I would try anyway. I'll probably try to unglue the mouse. Buy a terrarium. Then I get to keep him as a pet and feed him and stuff, huh? Isn't that cool? I guess that would work with the first mouse, maybe the first two, if they're on the same gender. But like, how many mice can you keep? V and Jerry. Jesus, Koilung, fucking hell. I don't even have a nail gun. Why do you people have so many dangerous things in your house? Don't the nail gun work like you have to press it against something? Like, no. By the way, someone said, Abdi Muhammad said that he would vote for Biden if he kept farting. Like, yeah, I guess like that's a way that you can gas the elites, because like they would be next to the president and we're like, we had to use glue traps one time and one mouse ended up eating another that got stuck too. I guess, yeah, because like they would go really hungry. Use brake cleaner. Can't I just pull it? Just pull the mouse. My cat actually got its paw stuck. I swear to God, that cat is the most annoying thing ever. So I pulled the ladder to the attic, and I leave the trap down because I needed to have both of my hands to pull the ladder down. And the trap had bait in it, so the cat goes to sniff it. And all of a sudden, the cat gets its paw stuck into the glue trap. And I'm like, oh fucking hell, it took me 10 seconds, like Jesus. So I turn around and I, like pull its paw off. Well, just unglue its paw. And some of the fur got stuck into the trap. Probably the trap is useless now because it smells of cat. But still now the cat was going around the house, keeping its paw up, like showing to me what I did to it. Like, cat, you're mentally deficient. I shave my cat's paw. I gave it a nice shave. No hair on my cat's paw now. I didn't hurt it, because it's fine. Still, I guess it probably hurt when the thing pulled its hair away. I guess it's kind of like the ladies used to do it. They would put tar or whatever that thing was on their feet. And then like, shh. I didn't pull its paw off. My English is bad. No, I unstuck its paw. Like, I had to pull the paw off the glue trap. Build a little gladiatorial arena and make them fight to the death. See, actually, that would be more humane than the glue trap if I'm thinking about it. A cat's paw is sore. Yeah, it's not only that it's sore, the cat just kept coming to me and showing it to me. Like, the paw was lifted up in the air. Like, showing to me, look what you did to me. It's like, dude, I left the trap down for 10 seconds while I pulled the ladder, and you immediately went to the trap. Build a mouse labyrinth? That's so cool. Yeah, literally. Like, the cat was coming up and was like, you did this. You did this. Now, there was no blood. Like, the skin wasn't affected. It was just like the fur between the paw prints. Like, the one between the fingers. And I guess it's not a pleasant feeling having your fur yanked. But like what else could I do? Like it was panicking. Like it was the first thing that I thought. It's like, okay, well, let's put it off. Like, whoosh. Cat doesn't know what glue is. Well, leave it alone. Like what? Leave it in the trap. I shaved the cat, literally, yes. I shaved the cat. It was a very small portion of fur, but it got shaved nonetheless. Sell the live mice to snake owners for coffee. Snakes are picky about dead meals. Yeah, I heard that. I don't really understand why people freak out whenever they hear it's like, oh, you fed a mouse to a snake. It's like, well, yeah, but the snake has to live, right? I mean, if you don't feed the snake, it dies of hunger. It's a predator. What it does, it eats meat. Like, just because you get to take your meat from the supermarket doesn't mean you also don't require things to be killed so you can survive. I mean, I don't know, if someone would count the number of chickens I ate throughout my entire life, I would probably be considered a chicken genocidalist. Don't be mad because the cat is mad at you. I was just trying to help. I didn't, like, honestly, I didn't even think about the cat. Like, all I was thinking is like, okay, I'm going to get the ladder down. So I put the trap down. I set it on a desk. And I'm like, okay, now I'm taking the ladder down. And literally, like, as I was turned around, I think it was like 10 seconds. Because the cat was immediately on the desk. And placed its paw on the trap. And I'm like, oh, God. Hire pest control. That's also a good idea, and I'll probably do it. Yeah, that's a good idea, Mentat. I don't know how expensive they are, though. The chicken will remember, yeah. You know, it's like in one of the Telltale games. Like the cat will remember what you did. Anyway, right. I'll end it here. Thank you guys. I hope you got entertained, and I'll see you in the comment section. Thank you for the super chats, and take care.